Woo! Hey everybody, how we doing tonight? Thursday night, pre-weekend, pre-Friday. We're almost there. We made it. Or if you're like me, entrepreneurs, you're working all weekend anyway, the whole time. Hey everybody, how you doing? Everybody hear me okay out there? Sound is good. Video is good. It's all working. Awesome. What's up, Nick? Mark, how you doing? Sue, Jasmine, how are you doing? Good to have you guys here. Lisa, thanks everyone. Thanks for being here. We got a great show tonight. It's going to be fantastic. A lot of fun. We got a lot of fun tonight. A lot of stuff to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm not going to lie. There's there's just a lot happening, you know? No doubt about it. All right, good. Good to hear. Awesome. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Hey, Becky, how are you? Good to have you in here. Good to see everybody. All right, let's get this thing rolling because we got a lot to cover. Grab a seat, take a breath. Tonight isn't about doom scrolling. It's about taking control right in the middle of the chaos because, as we know, the chaos does not stop. It just keeps on. It keeps on going and going and going. And we got our work cut out for us. So it's definitely been a wild week out there. I'm not going to lie to you. Headlines are arguing louder than your relatives at Thanksgiving right now at this point. And I'll tell you, I try to keep away from some of the political stuff, but I just can't help it this week. You know what I mean? I get in there and talk about what I have to talk about, but boy, oh boy, they're serving up some softballs this week. So we're going to talk about a couple things and jump in there for sure. So definitely a wild week. Like I said, it's like everybody arguing at Thanksgiving with your relatives. Everyone's right and nobody's listening. Everyone has their own opinion. So the softballs have been served up, and I gotta comment on a couple things for sure. So, well, what do we have happen this week? Like I said, it's been pretty wild. Well, first of all, we had a TV host lecturing a bunch of generals this week, trying to give them leadership tips. That's kind of like me going into a Michelin, 3-star restaurant and trying to tell the chefs how to cook because I can, heat up a Hot Pocket in the microwave. So that happened. Yeah, that actually did happen. Okay. We're going to talk about that. And, and then we also had the president. The president talked to the generals as well, too. Okay. And the president was very much himself during that talk too. Okay. And it's always funny for me to see the generals in the audience and military people, especially at that level, because, they're not supposed to react either way. And, the president just keeps on rolling. He is himself. And we're going to talk about a little bit about that as well too, mainly focusing on Secretary Hegseth's speech. But, and then he rolled out, I think it was this week as well too. He rolled out 2 AI deepfakes on members of Congress after some big talks. I mean, there's some serious stuff going on. We're having the government shut down. I know it's affecting probably some people that are watching tonight. Okay. The government is shut down and we're making fun of each other. Like it's not even like it's high school, like it's, middle school, crazy stuff. And so the president sent out these deepfakes. They were so realistic, that they even came preloaded with filibuster and a 7-page email. Absolutely nuts, though. And on top of that, during his speech, he talked a little bit about deploying the military to the city, saying there might be good training grounds, practice grounds. I just was watching this, and I was baffled, but we'll talk about that some more, too. But a lot of stuff happening this week, and over in Moscow, we got our friend, good old Putin over there, is still in deep denial, and he's being called a paper tiger, but he's not just a paper tiger. He's actually laminated. So he's not a paper tiger. He's a laminated tiger. And so nothing sticks to him. He can lie all he wants and deny. And if denial were a fuel source, well, I would say Moscow could probably power half of Europe at this point. So, and the news cycles are really they're like a family group text at this point, or one of those group texts with your family or friends, or somehow you got in a group text with a bunch of people. 90% of it's noise, 10% is sheer panic. And then you have every now and then someone has a 15-paragraph update, and one of the members just responds, okay. And that's it, when it really warrants a lot more. no one is really listening to each other. The liberals don't understand the conservatives don't understand the liberals. They're talking right past each other. And so all of this is right in my face. Like I said, I'm politically independent, but this is just too many softballs served up for me to ignore. And so we're going to get into it, okay? And again, like I say, here is our stance. Here's what we're doing, okay? Chaos is the crucible. I said, leadership chaos, right? Control chaos. Does that mean, that it's a leadership in control, trying to have control? Is there chaos in control? What it is. But either way, chaos is the crucible. We don't get smaller in the storms. We actually get simpler. We simplify. Simplicity is absolute genius, okay? Simplicity is brilliance. It just takes absolute brilliance to achieve simplicity. Make no mistake about it, okay? We get simpler, we get stronger, and we get more strategic when all this stuff is happening, okay? And remember, if you're here, you're not looking for permission. You're looking for a plan and a way to make your life better and a way to cut through the noise and get after it and still get ahead despite all the freaking lunacy that's going on. I mean, we're going to cover it, okay? I got plenty of tabs here. I got a lot of tabs to open up. It's going to be a great show, a lot of stuff to talk about, and we will talk about a lot of the lunacy, all right? So we're going to talk about a reaction. I'm going to give a reaction to the speeches about telling our generals how to lead, and was that really what it's about? But I'm going to make sure it's fair. I'm going to talk about what's fair, what was fantasy, what we have to do next, and why we should care, okay? I'm talking about all those things. I'm going to take a leadership angle to it and discuss what happened there. I'm going to talk Russia, Ukraine. Not so much really about, rubbernecking the war and telling you all the little details of what happened when, but about the leadership angle again and about what actually happened this week, what strategy's working, what's not. And again, leadership with Putin. What's he doing? Why is he doing it? What is President Trump's new strategy? Is it working? What are the outcomes? We talked about some of that last week, all right? I'm also going to give you tonight really important stuff. 10 business decisions you must make now, okay? That will change your life, change your business, change your career, okay? Very strategic, but also very tactical. Many tactical tasks within this strategy, all right? So that's going to be a great one. We're going to take some time and look at that and find out the way to win in a noisy world. We're also going to take a quick look, as we always do, a word from our sponsors. Take a look inside my coaching membership for those who want accountability and a battle rhythm to get ahead and have a plan and strategy to make it happen. And we're going to take a little fun break, of course, with what we've all been waiting for, the leadership lessons of South Park. And we're going to cover some of the craziest news from this week, okay? And then we'll wrap it all up and find out what it all means, okay? So let's go ahead and get right into this. It's great to have you guys here, but we're going to go ahead and check out what the hell was going on with Secretary Hegseth's speech to the generals, first of all. So without any further ado, let's get right into this first clip. Again, I'm so happy to have you guys here. Let's do it. Let's see. All right. So this happened this week, right? So this week, Secretary Hegseth, actually last week, President Trump, Secretary Hegseth summoned all the generals around the world to Quantico, Virginia to give them a big speech and to talk to them, okay? So let's just frame this up first of all. First of all, the Commander-in-Chief can do whatever he wants to, all right? He can do whatever he wants to. The Secretary of Defense can do whatever they want to too. I guess the price tag for bringing everybody together to Quantico was $6 million for this, all right? So two schools of thought. I'll just say to frame it. Some people would say getting in people's face-to-face communication, hearing it straight from the horse's mouth is the most effective means of leadership that you can do. Okay, so there's no way anybody can say, sir, I didn't understand you. It wasn't said to me. I wasn't sure. So if anybody's getting off track, they've been told, they've been forewarned, and not even forewarned. Okay, but really, this is how you change a culture. And I also want to say too, before we get into this, huge guts and courage by Pete Hegseth, okay? Maybe you weren't expecting me to say that. I wasn't expecting me to say it, honestly. But I watched the speech again, and I really reflected, and I thought, okay, put myself in his shoes. Huge guts. This guy was a major, okay, when he got out. Then he was a news, he was a news anchor on Fox News, I think, or whatever. Maybe not an anchor, but he was something like that, okay? And he gets in front of all these generals with all this credibility, decades and decades and decades of experience. And he gives this powerful speech, and I believe he was off teleprompter from what I could see, memorized. So I know personally that little touch of him not reading from a teleprompter means he took time to carefully choose his words, to memorize what he was saying and to deliver this. Okay. So I don't want to be too kind to him just yet, but I just want to set that up front and just say that. Please understand how big of, how much courage this took and how big, what kind of courage and what kind of commitment this took from him to get up and do this, and the guts it took just to get up there and do this in front of people who have more credibility than he does. Okay? More credibility, but he is the leader. Okay? And if he's trying to look for a cultural change, he's got to do what he's got to do. All right. Let's watch this video, and I'll give you some more about what I think about it, because that's just my little preamble. That doesn't mean he's going to get off the hook just yet. We'll see. All right, here we go.
This is a moment of urgency, mounting urgency. Enemies gather, threats grow. There is no time for games. We must be prepared. If we're going to prevent and avoid war, we must prepare now.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth calling for an immediate review of physical standards and also a broad understanding of the threats that we face and what the Pentagon needs to do to be ready for it, as he spoke to a gathering of hundreds of generals and admirals that were going to, quote, back to the original standards with equal requirements for men and women. Here's more.
War does not care if you're a man or a woman. Neither does the enemy. Nor does the weight of your rucksack, the size of an artillery round, or the body weight of a casualty on the battlefield who must be carried. This, and I want to be very clear about this is not about preventing women from serving. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is.
All right. So I just want to share that little clip first of all with everyone, and, put it in the comments what you think about that. Okay. What were your initial thoughts? I will tell you right up front. Okay. What is my initial analysis of this? First of all, tremendous courage to do this. I want you to put yourself in his shoes. Okay. They say that the best leaders will get in front of their people and speak to them face to face, and they're very clear. It takes guts to get up and to state your vision and to say what exactly you think needs to happen. Whether you agree with them, you disagree with them, whatever side you fall on, whatever you think, okay? I'm telling you as a leader in front of that audience of credibility, okay? I'm telling you, make no mistake, his heart had to be pounding out of its chest when he walked up there. He probably, and maybe it was because he's experienced, he was an experienced speaker at this point, and he's been in control, in charge of the, Department of War at this point, okay? The War Department for 7 months, basically. And so in that 7 months, though, he's talked to a lot of people. And I'm sure he's also socialized this a lot and had a lot of feedback. So I'm going to tell you right now, that takes tremendous guts, tremendous preparation. He gave a great speech. He didn't stutter. He didn't make mistakes. He didn't backtrack. Was there some wackiness? A little bit. We're going to talk about it, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about some of the wackiness there, okay? I might have lost a little sound for 1 second there. I think it's back. But we're going to talk about it. Maybe there was a little bit of wackiness, but I'm going to talk about it. But the guts it took, make no mistake, that is also real leadership. Get in front of your people. This is our whole point tonight. We're going to talk a lot about leadership and things you have to do to be a good leader, because make no mistake, leaders make more money. Leaders have more agency. They have more opportunity, and life is just better when you're a leader. Again, like Abraham Lincoln said, if you want to predict the future, the best way is to create it, okay? And when you're a leader, you create and design your future. So right then and there, Hegseth's really demonstrating great leadership traits, getting in front of his people, saying what he had to say. He designed a vision and he shared the vision, okay? He shaped the vision, he shared it. Now let's get into some of the details. Let's get into a little bit of the details here, okay? Some of the things he just said right there. Did some of the things bother me that he said? Yes. I'm going to play you a little clip and I'll talk about that, all right? But that being said, I'm going to tell you, he said a lot of things right. What I want you not to do is to conflate or confuse or to mix up what President Trump said afterwards. Different story, okay? Different story. I watched Hegseth live, all right? I had a few cringe moments, a few moments, but then I watched them again. I really listened to him. But we're going to talk about what President Trump said too. These are different speeches. I hear it a lot. I hear congressional leaders. Yeah, it was so disrespectful what Hegseth did when he said, was it? He's the leader. He's in friggin' charge. He's in charge. And this isn't some retired 4-star general who just automatically commands the respect. He has to let him know what he's thinking. He's exercising basic leadership traits. That's the hard work, man. Doing that in front of everybody, in front of the world, on live TV. He did this. I know as a inspirational speaker, public speaker, I've spoken in front of a lot of people, big audiences, all this stuff like that, okay? Live TV, and I'm not talking a wing it, like we're sitting here watching videos together and laughing and stuff and like, oh, what do you think? What do you think? And I'm talking a policy statement in a position where he can be, getting in trouble, getting fired in front of the world, all right? Huge, huge guts. I'm just going to say that. Do you think he was compelled by President Trump to do it? I'm sure, obviously, the commander-in-chief probably said it's probably a good idea if you talk to him. Or he said, boss, I think I'm going to talk to him and do this. But that's the best way to do it. State the policy up front. You'll see what's what. There can be no mistakes from that point forward, especially when you are trying to create lasting change. Okay, if you're trying to do organizational change, you have to shape a vision. You have to share the vision. Point, period, paragraph. It has to happen that way. All right? And again, do not confuse President Trump's speech with Hegseth's. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more. I'm going to show you another clip from Hegseth's speech right now. Okay, let's take a look at this one because I want to be very clear. These were two different things that happened, and I'm seeing a lot of things out there, quite frankly, are very lazy journalism, very lazy analysis. And the lazy analysis to me is, they're just confusing the two, Hegseth and Trump. No, Hegseth's, I didn't find disrespectful. I found a man who's in charge, who's, in charge for results, that his boss wants results, okay, who has the mandate of the American people and is telling him, make these changes. And so by God, he's going to do it. And at least he's upfront in person, not leading by memo, not leading by emails. You don't know where you stand. He's there in front of them saying, here we are, here's the story. And if you want to leave, you can leave. And people did. Some generals resigned afterwards. All right, let's watch this clip.
In many ways, this speech is about fixing decades of decay. Some of it obvious, some of it hidden. Or as the chairman has put it, we are clearing out the debris.
All right, I'm going to rewind that clip really fast.
Of decay. In many ways, this speech is about fixing decades of decay. Some of it obvious, some of it hidden.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there. This clip, this is the one I was talking about. This part hit me and made me say, huh? And made my spidey senses raise up a little bit. And I thought, you know what? That's BS. Decades of decay. You mean decades of decay of the military that just fought for 20 years in Iraq and Afghanistan and went wherever its country's called? Okay, wherever its colors went, wherever the country called and sent it, it went and it won. Okay, it won battle after battle, defended, whatever, operated any mission, finished any mission, operated in any environment that its nation needed to, wherever its country called, it went to. And it was lethal and precise, and it improved over decades, all these things like that. The same military he served in, okay, with the same leaders and things like that. At one point, the speech did get political. His speech started taking on, political stuff when we started talking about right there, decades of decay. And then I thought about it deeper from my own time in service. What was he talking about? And he talked about it later. So again, trying to use his words, not guess what he's saying. But later on, he talked about the fact that we're creating a culture, and he probably should have said decay. Decay says something else because it's wrong. Okay, so you're going to tell me decades of decay led to the B-2 strike in Iran where no one knew and we obliterated them, as they say. Oh, yeah, you could just build that in 6 months. It's dumbass. That's not true, right? So I don't mean to say he's dumbass. I'm saying the word decay is wrong. He could have said decades of something else, right? A better word than that, just in my opinion. But what he did talk about, and I do agree with, is a culture of, a zero defects mentality. Yes, you can't have a blemish on your record. Yes, I experienced all those things. I'm talking even from combat. Everything had to be perfect. It's a very competitive military environment. Make no mistake about it, okay? People will talk about job security. That is true, okay? If you do what you're told and you stick in there and meet the standards, you have job security. But make no mistake, promotion is not guaranteed, and competitiveness for certain jobs that will lead you to promotion is not guaranteed. You have to really compete. And so that's where the zero defect, zero blemish, it was very refreshing to hear that. The call to standards, the enforcement of standards was very refreshing. It was very normal. He spoke like a military commander in a lot of ways, okay? Now, some of the woke stuff he was talking about, I think he was just being very clear and very open about the type of military he wants and his overarching focus, because I really listened to what he was saying. He was saying, we're not going to prioritize social issues over lethality and over war fighting, and I felt he was very objective with it, very strong, very objective. And he was saying a lot of the things that I've heard for a long time in the military. Like, what are we doing? No one has any problem with what anyone does on their own time. They could care less, okay, what you do. But when you're in uniform, we're unified. We follow a standard. We do things a certain way, okay? So what I'm telling you is that I don't think anything he said really fell on deaf ears in there. I think it was probably something a lot of people in that room were saying, finally. And they probably already knew it was coming, but probably finally, good. Focus on lethality, focus on war fighting. We're not going to have these double standards. We're not going to try and make it a social experiment for the military. Okay, that's not its job, all right? And if you can make the standard, you meet the standard. That's what I heard. And I know I've seen other commentary and other people, but I'm just tell you guys the way I think about it. And my experience from being in the Marines for 23 years as a commissioned officer, being in special operations, being in force recon, being in the infantry, also serving diplomatically as well too. I've seen a lot of things, and I will tell you, it is a very harsh environment out there. So a lot of the things he's talking about, I think, made a lot of sense. But again, saying the decades of decay, not so much. I really don't think that was, I think that's the only, quote unquote, slap in the face moment. But it wasn't even a slap in the face. I would say it's more of a just kind of, look at him sideways. Like, what? What did you say? Decades of decay? How? I saw people going off the rails on LinkedIn and other places saying, oh, well, all those men in that room, I saw a retired sergeant major say this, all these decades of experience with all these ribbons in the room, and none of them have achieved anything. I'm like, really? You're making fun of yourself, dumbass, sergeant major. You haven't achieved anything then. What are you talking about? People don't know how to communicate. We're going to talk about that tonight too, in the 10 business decisions you have to make. You have to focus on communication. You got to be good at communication. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You cannot replace, message sent does not mean message received. And sometimes what you say does not equal what they're hearing. Okay. Again, the word decay, not the best choice of words there. So I thought a lot of it was very standards based, objective based. Yes, he's talking about a huge cultural shift. We're not going to be the woke department anymore. Obviously that was very political, saying that. And, but at the same time, if you listen to his speech, and I've listened to the whole thing twice, and I took notes, he did say, but this isn't your fault. It was the elected leaders over you telling you to do it. And you did what you had to do. And he said that. And he said, if you decide this isn't for you, you can leave. And no problem. Okay? And so I want you to think about that too. They can leave. They can resign, these generals, and they're going to retain their pay, retain their benefits. They're not going to get any trouble. All right? And I know a 4-star general that did. I think it was the vice chairman of the Air Force decided to leave the next day. So that's it for him. And who knows? Maybe he was planning to retire and just happened to fall in the same time. Okay, so just think about that. But I want to say overall, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect I was going to give, an attaboy to Pete Hegseth, but he did the hard thing. I'm going to tell you, as a leader in front of a few hundred people, it's the hard thing to get in front of them and to talk regularly. Okay, especially when it's a tough topic and you're going to meet with resistance. Because there's always resistance to change in front of an organization. Always. People do not want to get moving, okay? It takes that initial impulse energy to build momentum, a big push to get momentum. Inertia is hard to work against. And resistance to change, Okay, resistance to change is a real thing. Hegseth is working against resistance to change because people are entrenched. And he's right. I love that he said that. He said, it's not your fault. You guys are following elected leaders. That's what he did, right? But I'm going to say it again. This is a guy who got out as a major, okay? And obviously he's accomplished, he's educated, things like that. You know, he was on Fox as a commentator. But think how hard stepping back in front of all these people with all this credibility, some of whom know his past and know that he wasn't like a super stellar, amazing, you know, military guy from all that I've heard, okay? From all that I've heard. I do know some guys that know him. You know, at least I know them through other people, say he's a great guy. So anyway, I thought he did the right thing. I thought he stepped up and did something very hard. Okay. And then out came President Trump. He did what President Trump does. Okay. So don't confuse these things. I'm telling you, I watched both of them twice. I was like looking for the disrespected generals, he said no more fat generals. Good on him. Screw that, man. I'm going to tell you what, you never found a fat Marine Corps general. Never. I'll never forget one time Brigadier General Love running the combat fitness test with us. He smoked everyone out there except for me. All right. He didn't beat me, but nor should he have. Okay. I was the only one he didn't beat. I want you to think about that. This dude was like, he was like 50 something at the time. And I was like, I don't know. I had to be, I don't know, like 41, 42. And, you know, I beat him, you know, whatever, by 10 or 15 seconds, but he was flying. I couldn't believe it. That's dedication, right? Hard work. I mean, even General Mattis, when he was like 60 something, could do a ton of push-ups from what everybody said. So anyway, okay, that's always been a normal thing. Everything he was saying there to me, maybe that's why the Marine Corps were different. Everything he said there was very normal Marine infantry type of stuff. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a very normal Marine Corps stuff. Very normal Marine Corps stuff, what he said. And he talked about the Marine Corps a little bit too, saying every Marine a rifleman. He said, we're going to get to that for the entire joint force, that everybody's able to do combat tasks and be ready at any time. That's very Marine Corps stuff, very normal. So maybe for me, it's different. If you ask someone from another service, they might, you know, recoil a little bit to what he said. Oh my God. I don't know. It all seemed really normal. I think he did the hard leadership thing. If you're a leader, you got to get in front of your people. You got to talk. You got to have the hard conversations. You got to have the uncomfortable conversations. You need to lead. You need to shape a vision and share the vision. That's the only way to do it. So again, good on you. Good on you, Pete Hegseth. Good on you, Secretary Hegseth, for stepping up and doing that. I don't agree with everything you said, but I do agree that you did the right thing as a leader, and nobody has any excuse to not know what your vision is now and where you are taking the organization. So I thought that was pretty damn awesome, you know? All right. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the Commander-in-Chief. Talk about President Trump for a minute. And I will keep it as my most analytical leadership lens here, okay? And let's just hear where all the hoopla was about. I'm going to play this clip for you, and let's see. All right. Here we go. Okay, so President Trump gets up there after Secretary Hegseth. Secretary Hegseth does his thing. I was listening for the disrespect. I was listening to all this and that. No, it was just a military leader saying military things of what's going to happen. And I'm sure 99% of the generals in there were nodding their heads saying, good, yeah, hell yeah, make my job easier. He said, we're going to free up the NCOs and commanders to be NCOs and commanders and not be, taking all these, anonymous IG complaints and ruining people's careers. And I loved also another thing Pete Hegseth said is that if you have a blemish on your record and it was something that was like you trying hard, trying to do the right thing, and it didn't work out for you, we're going to make sure this doesn't hurt you. And that, so that's a great sign for an organization that is going to keep improving and growing, in my opinion. Okay. And plus, I spent 23 years in the military. I think I have an informed voice on the topic. All right, let's watch our beloved leader, President Trump, and what some of the hoopla was about for all the media backlash on what he said. Here it is.
Release the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia while America is under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them out. These people don't have uniforms. But we are under invasion from within. We're stopping it very quickly. After spending trillions of dollars defending the borders of foreign countries, with your help, we're defending the borders of our country from now on. But we're running it based on common sense and based on love of our country. But I want to salute every service member who has helped us carry out this critical mission. It's really a very important mission. And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
All right, I'm going to play that one more time, okay? This is the piece that got sideways, all right, where he's being blasted by a lot of critics and a lot of retired generals and, you name it, military, lawyers, civil military relations people, all these things. So here it is again. Listen one more time.
There's training grounds for, I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
Okay, so here's the thing. As a leader, words have meaning, okay? I have no doubt President Trump knows exactly what he's saying and exactly what he's doing. He's provocative. He's testing boundaries. He's asking questions about why is something the way it is? Why can't we use the military? Why can't we clean things up if it's become to such an unacceptable level? And he's saying, okay, you swore an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Notice it doesn't say to defend American cities or American citizens. It says to defend the Constitution, okay, and the freedoms and rights and laws therein against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So this is where it starts getting really sketchy. And this is where, once more, I didn't expect it. I should have expected it at this point. But President Trump said what he said, and so you guys put in the comments what you think about that. And yes, Jasmine, he did ask as well if he said maybe Canada wants to become our 51st state. Was just kind of winging it. And Tim, I saw you in the comments. You're right. I felt like he just kind of winged it. He did big dogged it, walked up there and said what he had to say. Now, it's been effective for him for a long time. He's won the presidency twice, okay? So he's a very skilled, gifted speaker. He knows how to rile the crowd up, knows how to make people laugh, all this stuff like that. But this is where we start to get commentary about drifting into authoritarianism where, I heard somebody, a retired general say, this was very Hitler-esque. I disagree. I disagree with that. I don't think this is Hitler-esque. I don't think this is Stalin-esque. I think this is a leader fed up and trying to look for answers, but that's not the right answer. Okay, the right answer is not deploying the Marines, the Army into cities and things like that, right? So if there are other means necessary and, unless the governor of the state and the mayor is begging for it, asking for it, which they aren't. So, I think that's where he gets into some trouble. He says these things and just says things. And, but words have meaning when you're the most powerful man on earth and you have all the laws. It's not cute, right? It's not that cute. It's not that funny. Even though I'm laughing because it's funny. I can't help myself. It is kind of funny, but it's not funny when you realize no, he means it. Like we actually might do this. So that's where he needs someone strong to be able to say, yeah, we got to find another way, boss. That's not the way we can do this right here. Okay. So, and I'll be honest with you. I think Hegseth, knowing what he knows, in him demonstrating such strength and in a very good speech, honestly, overall, I think him probably hearing that next was like, honest to God, he had to have been backstage in his mind, not done it because he knows he'll be out. He probably had to be like, oh my God, seriously. All I'm going to have to do is answer questions about if we're going to the cities now. Don't say it, boss. Who's had a boss like that? Who's had a boss that is constantly overreach and promising things, doing things? I had a couple clients before telling me they had this CEO that would just destroy deals. They'd get everything set, and then the CEO would go and open their mouth, and they'd destroy the deal. They'd destroy this. They'd piss people off. Again, leadership, guys, this is what we're talking about, we're focusing on today, okay? Like I said, I'm not taking so much the political angle, but I am taking the constitutional angle as much as I can. I'm taking the legal angle as much as I can, and the leadership angle. Because as a leader, you got to function within the bounds of the law. And no man or woman is above the law. That's it, right? So if the law is going to be changed, it has to be done within the lawmaking apparatus in Congress. And if they're going to change whatever we can do in the Constitution, that needs to be changed by the lawmakers, not in the executive branch. So again, right now, these are words. And I think he's probably just saying it to the generals to get a rise out of them and just speaking what's on the top of his mind. But that's part of where he got in some trouble. And he said a couple other things, that I'm not gonna deep dive into his as much, because my real deep dive was on Hegseth. But the president said a couple other things that could have been misconstrued as maybe disrespectful. But again, the generals work for him. President Trump is damn near 80 years old, twice elected the president, been twice commander-in-chief. He's been around the military, okay? He's been in charge of the Pentagon and the military longer than a lot of those generals have been generals for, okay? So we got to give him a little bit of credibility. And if he's being very frank and very open and very relaxed around them and just speaking his mind, then that's just what he's doing, right? And I will tell you this. From a positive standpoint, I want to say this. Those generals will never, ever, ever in their lives forget this day, the day that both the Secretary of Defense and President Trump spoke to them. I mean, honestly, someday they're going to remember that the president took the time to speak to me. Now, I'm not fool enough to think that this wasn't a big political stunt at the same time. Huge political gain, a big forum to speak politically with the backdrop of the American flag and all the generals there. And it's not lost on me the fact that they are also telegraphing to Putin. They're telegraphing to Russia. You don't think we didn't have any other meetings besides this one? You don't think that they had tons of war plan meetings and battle plan? You don't think there's a secret meeting after this one? Come on. Are you kidding me? If I'm Putin right now, I'm watching this, I'm like, oh shit. Summoned all the generals? It wasn't just for this. I'll tell you right now, I'm not spending $6 million to fly you from around the world to talk to you guys for an hour. Maybe President Trump didn't come back, but you don't think Hegseth, you don't think the Joint Chiefs and every combatant commander, you don't think everybody got together and talked? I'm sure some did. I'm sure some flew right back. But, that is also, it's also for show outward. It's internal show. It's internal communication. It's external communication. It's a lot of things. All right. But yeah, President Trump called for Canada to be the first 51st state if they want to. He said, why not? And he also said, which I was like, what? I was like, I think I was like making something. I looked over. I was like, huh? What did he just say? Seriously? Come on, man. I mean, come on. And now, and so that did happen. And then, talking about using the cities as training grounds. Yeah. Okay. So that all happened. All right. So that happened. Put your comments in the chat and whatever you guys think about that. Any questions you have? I see some funny stuff in the chat right now. Good Lord. Oh my gosh. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely kooky. So, all right. So that was that. And that definitely happened. No doubt about it. And so, which is going to get us into our next topic here. Speaking of Putin and speaking of Russia, what's going on? All right. It's going to get us into our next topic, which is about actually Russia, Ukraine, and about Putin and about leadership. So what's going on over there? And again, I do think that having all the generals together in one place was 100% telegraphing to Putin and to NATO and to the world and to President Xi and to the rest of the world that we are firmly in command. Our military is behind us. We're getting ready, because again, like I said, you think that's the only meeting, the live one on live TV? Come on. You think that's the only purpose? This is a huge, huge, huge publicity stunt and a huge information operation stunt. They are communicating with this. Okay. So what we're going to talk about is dissent and denial in Russia and how when systems fail, leaders fall in love with their own story and they seal doors. Putin is in total denial. And denial isn't a mood. It's a strategy that is his strategy that ran out of money. Okay, so let's check out this video really fast as a little attention gainer on this topic. And we're going to see how things are going over there for our good buddy. And just how Ukraine is manufacturing a crisis in Russia. Here we go.
Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in early 2022, the Kremlin has done a good job of insulating ordinary Russians from the costs of the war. Clever monetary policy dampened the effects of sanctions. Defense-related spending triggered a mini-economic boom, and Ukraine's occasional incursions into Russian territory were ultimately snuffed out. However, this might be about to change. In recent months, Ukraine's strike on oil refineries have pushed up fuel prices across Russia, triggering shortages and rekindling inflation-related anxieties about the wider Russian economy. So in this video, we're going to take a look at how Ukraine manufactured a fuel crisis in Russia, and why this leaves both the Kremlin and the Russian central bank with uncomfortable dilemmas.
All right. So you all can see there just what's going on, right? We see Ukraine has manufactured this dilemma in Russia by attacking the oil refineries. And the thing is that they're doing is they're not just attacking it once, like with a drone attack. They're attacking it again and again and again so that they cannot repair their oil refineries. And so it's causing crazy problems in Russia right now. And they're basically in denial. The Russian people are starting to uprise. If you guys have seen it in the news, but the Russian people, I wouldn't say maybe uprise, but they're getting very agitated. And they're protesting against the war. The normal conservative right-wing media that supports the Kremlin at all costs is starting to push back against the Kremlin and talk trash about them publicly, to the point where they're shutting down TV stations, news outlets, things like that. So this stuff is starting, this stuff is starting to happen. Russia is starting to feel the pressure. They're having all these crazy lines at the gas pump, okay? And Ukraine is doing it through all these drone strikes and all the, support that they have from NATO and from the US. More and more and more, Ukraine's emboldened because Trump's strategy has changed too on Ukraine, okay? And I see, let's see, I see a few things here. Hey, Phoenix, how you doing? Good to have you here. To believe he has a strategy to overestimate him. Yeah, crazy like a fox, right? Maybe. But I do think there's a strategy there. I think there is an overall strategy. Okay, audio is echoing right now? Or no, is it still good? It's probably when I was playing the video. Yeah, so crazy stuff though. Crazy stuff out there. And again, put it in the chat what you guys think. You have any questions, and I will get to them. Let's watch this next video really fast, okay? Another one priming us up for this discussion on Ukraine and just what's going on over there. Okay. This is the one I'm looking for. So, yeah, definitely some crazy stuff happening. I just want to play this for you guys. I got a million of these tabs are open right now. Here we go. Okay, check this one out. And then we'll discuss this a little bit. Again, put any of your comments you guys have in the chat, any questions you have, and I'll get to them.
Aggression from Russia and its latest drone attack on Kyiv hitting its energy infrastructure, which led to a blackout at a nearby Chernobyl nuclear plant. Ukrainian President Zelensky accusing Russia of posing a threat now to global security. Denmark, meanwhile, warning that the Kremlin is waging a hybrid war on Europe as European leaders are gathering to discuss Russia's increased drone incursions over NATO allies, including the Danish capital, Poland, Romania, and Estonia. The EU also weighing the transfer of hundreds of billions of dollars in frozen Russian money. They want that transferred to Ukraine, which Moscow...
All right, this is super interesting, too, because they're talking about the transfer of hundreds of billions of dollars back to Russia, which the EU holds, okay, in an account, I believe, for purchasing oil and things like that, or it might be in some type of, reserve, or just the banks are holding money from the Russian government. And Putin's asking for the money back, but they're not going to give it back. So the EU is going to transfer it to Ukraine from what they're saying. So let's listen some more.
Of dollars in frozen Russian money. They want that transferred to Ukraine, which Moscow is now describing as theft. I raised the issue with European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde recently. Watch. Can you demand that $300 billion in Russian money does not get back to Putin and you use that to rebuild Ukraine?
So far, what we've done is make sure that that money stays frozen and is not disposed of by Russia.
Okay, so again, crazy stuff. They're using a lot of different weapons and a lot of different tactics and strategies, a lot of different strategies against, using economic power in this case against Russia to deny them the funds. Again, because as their oil business goes out of business, as the gas and oil business, pipelines get shut down, the refineries get blasted, they were going to run out of money. They're not going to be able to fuel the war machine. So this is why they've been trying to, put more tariffs and sanctions and things like that, but the sanctions especially on Russia, and in order to shut down their ability to pay for the war. But also, Ukraine is attacking all of the refineries and all of the pipelines and things like that. And now they're denying them their extra funds that the EU has. Okay, so but Russia keeps on having these incursions with drones into all the NATO airspace. So again, as we talked about last week, this whole point is to make sure that it makes NATO blink. It makes the NATO members think twice about actually supporting the war, because they think, well, maybe we have to reserve some funds for us. Maybe we have to keep some weapons for us because, God, what's going on here? He keeps on coming into our airspace. Is he crazy enough to launch an invasion? All right. But I'm going to tell you, so the recent turnaround with President Trump now supporting Ukraine fully, saying he thinks they can win the war, and we're going to see a few other things where they're talking about sending Tomahawk missiles there. This is a game changer. This is an absolute game changer all the way around. Because now if Ukraine can strike deep into Russia regularly with U.S. intelligence help, with U.S. missile technology help, that's a game changer for Russia, because their infrastructure, their war machine will be getting destroyed, and they know that. So we're going to hear from Victor Davis Hanson. He's a famous historian who comments on this, and I think he has a great take on it. Let's hear what he has to say really quick, okay? And then we'll drive on.
Has changed his position on Ukraine. He addressed the United Nations recently, and he said that Vladimir Putin is stalling. There's been a lot of news that Donald Trump apparently has changed his position on Ukraine. He addressed the United Nations recently, and he said that Vladimir Putin is stalled. What's going on? Donald Trump came into office thinking that Joe Biden's lack of a strategy, Joe Biden's demonization of Putin as a dictator was short-sighted. And then Donald Trump said, I know Putin, he fears and respects me, so I can cut a deal. What Trump did not calibrate, though, very quickly was that Vladimir Putin went into Ukraine, and he is in a slog, a morass, a World War I trench mess. And Donald Trump now has seen that, and he says to himself and to now the United Nations, we will starve Russia out, and we will all combine, and we can win.
All right, so something I want to talk to you guys about is as a leader, you have to, first of all, you got to really understand the assumptions you're making. President Trump made assumptions that because of his personal relationship, okay, President Trump made the assumption that because of his personal relationship with Putin, that he could actually cut a deal. He could make things happen, okay? This was a flawed assumption, all right? Because what he didn't take into account is that, as I talked to you guys about before, when a dictator is trapped and cornered like an animal and they have no way out, okay, except to fight, they're going to be the most dangerous ever, because there's no off-ramp, there's no election, there's no future for him if he leaves power. Sure, he might escape for maybe a year or be able to, maintain some security for a little while, maybe 6 months. Probably not, though. If the Russian people uprise and they don't care anymore, he's going to be dead. They're going to get rid of him, okay? Something's going to happen. They will overthrow the government, and it'll be bloody and violent coup. Okay, that's my prediction. Unless he violently puts it down and somehow has support to do that, but I don't think so. So this is the thing, is that he had flawed assumptions for what would work with Putin. He thought his personal relationship would actually be what carried the day, but it's not. It's not. So as a leader, you got to remember, what are you basing your decisions on? What are you basing your decisions on? That's like me saying, I know there's gravity. What's my certainty? What's the probability of gravity? 100%. Okay. No doubt about it, right? That's 100% certain assumption there will be gravity. Okay. When I go to a traffic light, what's my assumption that everybody else will obey the traffic lights? Probably 100%, maybe 90%. I got to be careful. I still got to look both ways, but I have great faith in the system on the roads, right? Like if we didn't, we'd be in chaos. Nobody would follow these roads and these lines and all these things and these lights. All right. Same thing. When you believe for your job, you're going to get paid. You're placing a lot of faith in that system. So these are assumptions. But when you're dealing with people like Putin, if you don't know his situation and you don't know his environment and you don't realize he's actually in big trouble and he's going to behave more differently now that he's really in big trouble, then, you're going to make the wrong assumptions and wrong decisions based on those assumptions. So you saw early on, Trump was like fighting against Zelensky. He's pushing back on everybody saying, no, I know Putin. I can make this happen. Boy, he was wrong because Putin, he doesn't realize, has no choice. Putin can't end this. Putin can't get out of it. He is stuck right now, okay? And yeah, I thought he was pretty stupid. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. And I thought he was pretty stupid for not taking the deal where Trump said he can keep the land in Ukraine and, we'll have peace and we'll just end this thing. But he kept going. So I don't know what that's about, but I have a sneaking suspicion, like I said before, this is dictator behavior. When they're riding the tiger, they can't get off the tiger because if they do, they're going to get eaten and get killed. Okay? Super important. So I think it's, I think it's important to understand the assumptions you have about somebody. Okay? Hey, thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. Lisa, I saw that video echoing. Yeah, I think it's because it was turned up locally over here. Okay, let's keep on driving here. But that is definitely something to watch out for. And, I got to talk about my favorite right there about Putin a little bit, okay? And now, what I want to get into is, as we talked a lot about Putin, and we talked about Hegseth, we talked about President Trump, and we're talking about all the different leadership assumptions and things people do as leaders. I want to talk to you guys about 10 business and leadership decisions that you must make, all right? These 10 decisions you got to make, and you got to do them. If you don't, you're going to lose. If you do, you're going to win. It's as simple as that, okay? These aren't platitudes. They're decisions you need to make, okay? What I would say is pick one and move on it within 24 hours to get better, okay? So number one, choose mission first, people always, okay? The old saying we used to have that when you take care of the people, they'll take care of the mission, all right? You got to be mission focused. And as a leader, you got to be mission focused, but you have to remember to take care of your people. Are you taking care of your people? It's absolutely crucial. So one of the things, like, again, with Hegseth's speech, is he was talking about having clear standards, having hard training, having him giving this speech is actually taking care of people so they don't get confused. And less confused they are, the harder they can work, the more we clear away the ways so they can do the training and do the right type of training, become more lethal. It's going to ultimately take care of the mission, and it's ultimately going to take care of the people as well too, okay? So, but with you, I would say if you don't have a personal mission written down, you need to write one down, okay? As I've always told all of you, my personal mission is to be an inspirational leader to create positive, lasting change in the lives of others, all right? And then what you want to do is take a look at your daily behaviors. What are your daily behaviors? What are 3 daily behaviors that you can prove so that you can, actually prove that you mean it? What are you going to do to prove that you're focused on the mission? And that you're going to take care of people, all right? Take care of the people that are helping you do the mission. And you may not have even direct employees. You may have people that you directly lead, but you have people that support you, people that believe in you, people that in some way, shape, or form are a part of your network that are helping you to accomplish your mission, right? Or you may have teammates, you may have peers, things like that. How are you going to take care of them to take care of the mission? And then make sure your mission is clearly defined. And I would say 100% what you have to do, you got to, please listen to me. If you don't listen to anything else right now, like I always say, ding, 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 this is the time to listen. Align your calendar and your energy with that mission. Top-notch performers, even more than arranging their time, and even more than, managing their time, they manage their energy. That means the times they're most energetic, early in the day a lot of the times. I know some people who are like writers, things like that, or some other business entrepreneurs who work better at night, okay? But Manage your energy in accordance also with your mission. So both your calendar, your time, and your energy. You got to do that. All right. Number 2, define your battle rhythm. You need to make sure that you understand, what is my battle rhythm? Do you have a battle rhythm? That means, what is your schedule, your weekly recurring schedule that becomes ritualistic, habitual, that's going to help you to get things done. When you have, let's say, for example, working out becomes a ritual, you're probably going to get in better shape and get stronger, all those things like that. When you have something that's like some type of work, like if you're a writer and you make writing into a ritual, okay? You make content creation into a ritual. You're making time for deep thinking about solving problems into a ritual. You got to block the time for these things, all right? So you have to define your battle rhythm. If you don't have a battle rhythm yet, you got to get one. So take a look at your weekly schedule and see where you're going to plug in the key times, because we are creatures of habits. And as your habits go, so goes your destiny, honestly. So build good habits for yourself, especially if you're in a situation where you can actually work on habits and build the habits. All right, take a look at what are the key performance indicators that you can control. What are the KPIs in your inputs you can control? All right, is it a number of outreach? Is it a number of offers? Is it delivery, client delivery? Is it reviews? What is it? But you got to look at it. How many phone calls are you making? How many emails are you sending? How many posts are you making? How much content are you making? Okay, how many comments are you putting down on key leaders that you would like to work for on their posts? All these little things. This is a system of almost like marketing as well too, but it's really KPIs, the key performance indicators that are going to help you to control where you are now to where you want to be. So measure these things. Control your battle rhythm, control the KPIs, the key performance indicators. Look at your decision triggers as well too. So, if this happens, if X by Friday, then Y by Monday, for example. What is your branch plan? What is your sequel? What is the follow-on thing you have to do? Okay. So you have to take a look at what your decision point triggers are. So if I don't get this contract by the 15th of October, then I know I need to do X with my money, or I need to not purchase this. Okay. Then I can't hire so-and-so, for an example. Okay. Other examples of this as well too is that, if I go out with my friends on Friday and I go, let's say you're working out, trying to lose weight, trying to get fit. If I go out with my friends on Friday and I have pizza and chicken wings and cookies and all this stuff, that means Saturday and Sunday I'm doing extra cardio and I got to really tighten my diet. That was my cheat day and I can't do it again. So build in some if-then statements for your decision-making that also connect to your battle rhythm, all right? Have an after-action review as well too. Along with your battle rhythm, review the actions you've taken. Try to get better. Try to improve. What worked? What didn't work? What broke? What changed? What do we retain? What was good? What do we keep? Okay, all those things like that, but you got to do that. Number 3, adopt what I call the F2P2, the fast fire planning process, okay? We had something called R2B2 before. I changed this to F2P2, fast fire planning process. So number 1, you need to frame the problem, understand the terrain, understand the situation you're dealing with, okay? Just as we've seen in any of the leaders we've discussed and talked about, they need to look at what the problem is, what the situation is, what the terrain is, and then form a course of action, okay? Next, friction, surface assumptions. What are your assumptions? Like I said, President Trump assumed Putin was his friend so he could solve the deal. He didn't know about some other things that could destroy that assumption. Like, for example, Putin being stuck over in Ukraine. Constraints, risks, all those things. Choose the ways and means that are aligned to your deeper intention, okay? Make sure it's all in alignment. Choose the ways and means that work for what you're trying to do, okay? You don't want to go into overkill. You don't want to use a machine gun to kill a fly, for example, okay? Or there's a fly flying around the house, you take a sledgehammer to try to kill it, right? You're destroying everything, okay? That's like we said, the old joke about AI. We say for AI to cure cancer, and it says, sure. And it goes ahead and launches nuclear weapons everywhere to kill every human on the planet and says, I cured cancer, right? So not so good. And then you want to be able to proof this planning process. Define tests and checkpoints. You got to take a look at, take small shots for fast learning. Fire bullets first, then cannonballs, okay? This is like a reconnaissance process. Test things out. Learn to test. Learn to try it out, okay? And then go from there. And then once you realize you're hitting the target, fire more, do more, okay? Next, number 4, measure what moves money and meaning. Okay. Track controllable inputs. You got to look at what you can control. What are the things you can put into your machine, into your system? What are the things that you can control? Okay. Like how much, like I said before, what are the KPIs? How much are you working out? How much are you eating? How much are you spending? How much are you making? All these basic things like that are super important. Okay. And then you want to tie all that into what you're trying to accomplish and just see how it's moving along. Like, what is the speed of it? What is the quality? What's the reliability? And really, there's speed, quality, and cost. You can have 2, but you really can't have all 3. You can do it fast, okay, at a low quality. Do it, speed, quality, and cost. Do it fast for a lot of money, slow at high quality, okay, but usually it's very hard to get all 3 of those things. So you got to understand that. And then be absolutely ruthless after you measure and you see what is getting you closer to your goals, what's moving you closer to achieving your financial goals, your personal goals, and you got to cut out what's not working. Cut it out ruthlessly. You got to be ruthless, okay? Again, this is the 10 business leadership decisions you must make, okay? So put in the chat any questions you have, and I will make sure I hit these. We're almost there. Number 5, this is absolutely humongous, and we saw 2 different things today. We saw Secretary Hegseth, and we saw President Trump. We have to master leadership communication, okay? Master it. Communication isn't a soft skill. Anybody who says communication is a soft skill is absolutely wrong. Hey, what's up, Giovanni? How you doing? Anyone who says leadership is communication is a soft skill doesn't understand, okay? It is leadership. Be intentional in every interaction. You're either building credibility with every interaction or you're burning it. You got to understand that. So be very intentional. Understand what you say and what you don't say is very important. As I once heard it said, if you want to seem wise and smart, think of something stupid to say and then don't say it, okay? Verbal clarity. Speak so people understand you, not so you sound smart. Ask yourself, am I speaking to like a middle school level right now, or am I, talking all fancy and all crazy so people don't understand what the hell I'm saying? And it's a shield. It's a shield to really hide behind my words so that, I'm not very clear about what I'm trying to say. I can hide it behind, double speak and about fancy words and things like that. So speak clearly and simply. Simpler is better, honestly. Be good at writing. Get better at writing, okay? And you don't have to be fancy. You don't have to be a great writer, but I'm saying make sure you're clear in your emails. Read them over. Proofread them once or twice, okay? Your briefs, your posts. Be short, specific, actionable. Make sure people understand you. Message sent does not mean message received. That's right, Jasmine, it does. You have to be a good communicator. You got to be, hey, Mountain Music, how you doing? I speak really dumb, and everyone assumes, no, that's not what it means. But that's usually brilliance. If you speak clearly and sometimes you speak dumb, maybe everybody's at least going to understand you. There'll be no confusion. But that is a very funny comment. Storytelling. Translate strategy into human stakes and human stories, okay? Tell your things as much as you can in a story. The better you can make what you're trying to communicate into a story, the better it is for people to understand you every time, okay? Use when you're trying to offer someone a solution, use the problem path, okay? The problem solution path. What that is, you state the problem, you say how your solution is going to solve the problem, and then what life's going to be like after the solution, okay? This is a transformative promise within the story. So storytelling is very important, okay? You got to be able to tell things in a story. Have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and then the so what. What's in it for everybody, the conclusion, right? The big revelation at the end. You got to know how to coach and counsel. Correct with care, praise specifically, redirect behavior, not identity. Don't try to confront someone on their identity and who they are, okay? It's either there's certain performance metrics, they're doing it or they're not doing it, okay? Either they're on the team or they're off the team, okay? Influence. Tailor messages to the audience and align your logic and tailor your message to the audience. Make sure people are getting something out of it, okay? So influence is absolutely a huge part of communication. And last is this, your cadence. How often are you talking to important people in your life? How often are you talking to, people you work with, your peers, your loved ones, your family, anybody you need to influence? If there's someone you need to influence, okay, and someone you need to actually, understand you better, are you communicating with them? If there's someone you're going to ask, if there's someone you're going to ask, hey, I need your help. How often are you communicating with them? Are you communicating with them properly? Right? It's very, very important. Okay. And then you need to have your moment to moment intentionality. So what does that mean? From moment to moment, you got to be clear in your mind. What am I trying to do here? What am I trying to communicate? What's my brand right now to this person I'm speaking with? What's my brand right now to this person I'm emailing? What's my brand right now to these people I'm communicating with? Okay. You have to ask, what am I trying to build in the next 10 minutes when I talk to these people? Before you have a call, who am I trying to be right now on this phone? Am I ready to give my best to make sure my brand is protected and who I am is protected? Okay. And that I'm projecting myself in the way of how I want to be perceived. All right. Super important. Count, cadence delayed, cadence count, cadence count. I saw that. Number 6, raise your standard. Publish your leader's standard of performance. Secretary Hegseth just did that, right? He showed what is the standard he's expecting. You got to say it. Shape a vision, share a vision. Number 7, this is hard. Okay, this is not easy. Install moral guardrails. You want to pre-commit to certain lines you won't cross, okay? Especially if you're a leader on a team and you have a team. You want to set them up for success and say, this is what winning looks like. This is what losing looks like. This is how we win, okay? So you have certain guardrails up for behavior. So you're saying, this is what I'm training you guys for, and even for yourself as well too, because you have to lead yourself first. Know what you stand for. Know the things that you'll always do. Know the things you'll never do. That's culture. That's personal culture. That turns into unit culture, turns into organizational culture as well too, all right? Try to build a culture of candor. Make sure you're speaking, you're speaking truth, all right? You don't have to destroy somebody, but you want to be honest and open and give your best advice at all times, especially as a leader, whether you're leading up or you're leading sideways, you're leading down to the people that are following you. But you got to make sure that you are, that leaders are speaking last. They have 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason. They're using them. They're listening, okay? Very important. And the thing I want to say too is it's don't have that zero defects mentality. It's okay for people to be wrong. It's okay. Because if you're wrong fast, you can be right eventually, right? Now, being wrong fast doesn't give you any excuse for not doing the studying ahead of time, the preparation ahead of time. Being wrong fast does not mean don't be prepared, because you'll get destroyed. You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared. Simple, okay? And once you're totally prepared, you got to go for it. All right. Be timely in your action and go for it. Next, people that are relying on you, customers, clients, all those people like that, you need to have a fast response time. Okay. There has to be something where, whether it's a customer, it's a client, it's a leader, it's somebody who's leading you or people you are leading. You need to be able to make your response time as quickly as feasible, as quickly as you can. All right. Make it like a playbook, like a standard operating procedure that we're going to get back to people within 24 hours on every email. We're going to do this. We're going to make sure that we have a response and a solution within 48 hours after we send that email. Okay. All those things. And you want to really ask, how did we do? It's so important. Again, like I said, why am I talking about leadership? Because guess what? Leaders make more money. Leaders have more opportunities. Leaders have more freedom of action in their lives. So it pays to be a leader. And this is how you do it. These are some of the keys to being a leader. Okay. And last, commit to ferocious optimism. Okay. Ferocious optimism, as many of you know, they're in the membership with me in the community, who've been with me for a little while. It is not wishful thinking. It is trained optimism plus action. Your power state has to be the most important thing. Your energy, your enthusiasm, your posture, your focus. And then you make a plan and then you move on it every single damn day. It's just like my coffee mug says right here, right? Okay. Right there, you can see it. Okay. Courage and discipline. That's what you need. Courage and discipline. Okay. If you have that courage and discipline, nothing can ever fail you, right? Because you're going to keep on going with a disciplined action and you're going to take action each and every day. And you can get those in the merch store, by the way. Hey, and by the way, check it out on my YouTube channel. You click on there now, all my merchandise comes up. That took me about 4 hours the other night to link all that stuff together with Shopify, Printify, and everything else. So please take a look. Tell me what you think. At least enjoy it. Your boy's over here making stuff happen technically. So tell me if it works for you. Leave it in the comments. That'll help out. Okay. So tell me, what which one of these hits you the hardest? Which one of these do you need to work on? Put that in the chat so we can talk about it. What single communication habit will you change tomorrow? Think about that. Is it in-person communication? Is it on the phone? Is it email? Is it texting? Is it getting back to people in a timely manner? Is it your physical posture, your body language? Remember, communication is like 70 or 80% body language, right? I think it's something like that, okay? And also, if you have a mission, post your one-line mission, your one-sentence mission in the chat right now. I want to see it. Hey, awesome, Phoenix. Yeah, you got to adopt ferocious optimism for your life. You got to do it, okay? It's absolutely awesome. So I'm going to tell you, throughout the times that I've trained elite teams, I was in charge of the recon training company. I was in charge of the school, the commander of the school that created recon Marines and created Marine snipers, okay, as well. Scout Sniper School was under me. And standards and repetitions beat speeches every time, okay? And so remember this, repetition is the mother of skill, okay? And necessity, right? Necessity is the mother of invention. So once you need it and you want it, you have powerful desire. That's the one common thing with all the most successful people I've ever worked with and I've ever known. They want it so badly, okay? And then they work and they work and they work. They find a blueprint for success. They follow the plan and they do repetition after repetition after repetition. They improve, they get better, they review, they analyze, they improve, they grow over and over again. That's how you make it. That's how you build the 10,000 hours, okay, correctly, okay? And I'm going to tell you, you want to have clarity and certainty on your mission. You want to get very clear about that, clear and focused about what you want, and you need to update this ruthlessly. Keep on it. Get passionate about the process. The more passionate and obsessed you get with the process of self-improvement, of self-growth, the more it becomes a habit, the more you do it, the more you move down the field to score, okay? And if you want a team that lives this every week, here's how to plug in. If you want personally to learn how to live this every week, this is how to plug in, okay? So I've talked to you guys a lot about in the past about my coaching membership, but this is exactly it. If you don't have an accountability circle and you don't have a plan, you don't know how to get clear and focused, you know how to get certain, you don't know how to get passionate and obsessed, okay? My membership is for you. This coaching membership and community is the place for you, okay? My Ferocious Optimist community, filled with amazing people in there, all trying to level up, all trying to get to their next level, okay? And they'll be there to support you. I'm in there. Every day you can DM with me, Q&A every day. You get live monthly group coaching session with a live monthly Q&A on a private Zoom call. So we all see each other together. We all hear each other. We're all talking. Super cool, okay? And the replay is hung in the members area so you can play it as many times as you want. And if you can't make the session, you go in there and replay it later and go at your own pace. And I also hang the presentation that I teach with, a big PowerPoint presentation, a PDF that you can download and reference anytime you want, okay? And if you don't have the feeling that you know all about leadership or mindset and execution, and you want to feel that you're getting ahead as early as next week, you join today, okay? And right now I put out a video. I've got right now in October, okay, if you're one of 10 people that joins in October, their bonus is available to you, okay? You're going to get a one-on-one onboarding session with me, and you're also going to be able to get early access, pre-launch for a course that I have coming out here before the new year, all right? And you're going to get early access to that, to the mini course version of that, to check that out, okay? So this is the time to join right now. You're going to get downloadable content. You're going to get, as many replays as you want, unlimited replays of the coaching sessions from each month, unlimited replays of the presentation. You're going to get the membership success path that shows you exactly what the small tasks are you need to do, where you need to be at in order to officially be launching out and making your life where you need it to be, okay? What we do is we compare this in the membership success path to the launch of the space shuttle, the launch of a rocket ship, okay? In stage 1, you're building the rocket. You're getting the rocket on the launch pad. Stage 2, you're lighting the engines up. Stage 3, it's actually lifting off, okay? Stage 4, you're breaking free of the Earth's surface. You're financially set, okay? You're financially secure. Your physical fitness is getting where you need it to be. You're accomplishing confidence, clarity of mission, purpose, and you've habitualized, you made it into habits, all the actions will take you from where you are now to where you want to be, okay? More or less, I'm training you like a Marine, like I did in the schoolhouse, okay? And I'm defining the tasks very clearly, and I'm training you in the skills and the abilities and the mindsets and the tools and strategies that will help you to adapt and change in any situation you're hit by, okay? And if you don't have an accountability circle and you don't have a plan, you don't have a strategy, you don't have a blueprint, this is for you. This is time to join. Join my Ferocious Optimist coaching membership and community. And I'm telling you, there's virtually risk-free. It's risk-free. You can cancel anytime, okay? But I don't think you will. I don't think you will. I think you're going to fall in love with it, and you're going to love being in there, all right? And you're going to love the results you get as well, too. And remember that if you don't stand up for yourself and you don't take action and invest in yourself, who else is going to? And I've heard all the excuses. I don't have time. Okay, when are you going to have time if you don't have time right now? You got to make time, okay? And I don't have enough money, okay? This is the perfect thing, because then you put skin in the game. The more skin in the game, when it's tight, you're going to invest more deeply in yourself. And I'm going to tell you right now, every time I've invested in myself, it's come back to me in courage and confidence and clarity and health and wealth and inner peace, all these things. It's all the stuff we're going to work on, okay? I've invested in myself so many times, a lot of money, and I've never regretted it once. Even when money was tight, I said, you know what, I'm going to take this, and I could invest it in an investment fund. I could buy Bitcoin. I could do all these different things, right? Instead, I'm investing in myself, because when you build your skills and you build your knowledge, you build your ability, it will always come back to you, okay? It's never the wrong thing. So I've heard all the excuses before. I've tried before and I've failed. I've tried other coaching memberships. Well, not all coaching memberships are the same, okay? Not all coaching is the same. Not all coaches are the same, okay? I guarantee you they're not like me. I'm going to tell you that right now, all right? So if you're ready to join now, go ahead in the chat and put member, or hit me up on Instagram, DM me there, okay? Go inside the link in my bio in YouTube, and in the link in the bio on YouTube, you'll see coaching membership and community. Click that. It costs you nothing just to take a look, okay, at what's going on. It doesn't take any email, anything like that. You just click it. You go ahead and look. You can scan through it, okay? And I think you're going to like what you see. By the way, there is a free gift if you just click the link and you look. You sign up, and for that one, you put in your email and your name, and I'm going to send you a free gift of a breakthrough guide PDF, okay? So click the link in there, and you can get a little sample and get a free breakthrough mini guide that will come through to you, okay? So check that out. All right. Break is over. We are back in action. So if you haven't been here, you're in the bathroom, time to come back, because you all know what time it is. You all know what time it is, baby. Hell yeah, Tim. Thank you, Tim. Tim is awesome. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, brother. And Jasmine, thank you. Supra, what's going on? How are you doing? Let's give a couple shout outs here. Hey, Suze. What's up, Jasmine? Mountain Music. Anybody I missed? Giovanni, I saw you earlier. And guys, any questions, let me know. And I will get to them. Just hit me up. And again, if you have any questions about the membership, guys, go ahead and hit me up on Instagram. You can comment on YouTube as well, too. But Instagram's really the place for the DMs. I think YouTube has really got to get some kind of DM thing. I don't think they do that I know of. But again, I'm kind of new to YouTube. I've only been doing this really since May. So even though it says I've been on there longer, I had an account for a long time and never did anything with it. So, but being on the War Room changed all that, because the other guys were all like, Ben's going to he's going to go ahead and get his thing going. All right, let's do it. Let's do South Park. Everyone's ready? It is time to rock and roll. Let's see what leadership lessons we can learn from our friends in South Park. Because again, that's what we're all about over here. The mission of this channel, this podcast, and my mission is to upgrade your life, to make your life better, help you become better leaders of yourselves and of others, and just to kick ass in life. Let's see how South Park can help us today with that. Let us see. I got to find it. Let's see where to go. Here we are. Okay. Here we go.
Welcome to the Pentagon, sir. I've been ordered to show you around. This way, please. This is the drone program. In there, you can kill anyone on Earth remotely. Here's the keys. Thanks. In here is satellite surveillance, where you can monitor anyone's conversation live. Oh, that'll come in handy. Extreme interrogation room, in case you ever find interrogation necessary. Oh, hell yeah, it's necessary. Let's do it. And here, of course, is the famous football, where you can order a nuclear attack in 4 minutes. Love me some football. And finally, in here is the...
All right, before I get the worldwide block from Paramount, I got to shut it down, guys. Otherwise, they will block me. Hold on one second. Ooh, I think I just had Paramount block my audio. Did you guys hear that? The audio dropped out. Paramount's already on to me. Everyone be careful. Go to our alternate encrypted site right now. Hey, happy 40th birthday. Supra, is it your birthday? All right, so that's the first day in office for the president there, and he goes on into the diplomatic negotiations room, and they go and say, he said, that doesn't seem like very much fun. Happy birthday. Who else? What else we got going on out there? Okay, let's go on to the next one. Let's check out what we got going on next.
Stan? Daddy wants to have a little talk, Stan. Stanny boy? I'm coming! Oh, look, wedding crashers. What are you doing, Shelly?
Nothing, Dad. Go back to killing the family.
Okay. Stan! Stanny boy, I'm coming! Stan? Daddy wants to have a little talk, Stan. Wedding crashers.
All right. So, what's the major takeaway for this one? What's the major takeaway? What's the major takeaway for Stan's dad, Randy, right there? He's roaming around looking to kill his family, just like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. That's who he's supposed to be there, I think. And who does he see? He sees his daughter with lighter fluid burning the place down. So the big lesson, the takeaway for me right there is that if you see someone doing something, say something, okay? And also on top of that, as a leader, you can't put your head in the sand, okay? If you know someone's up to some BS and they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, or they're going against the culture, or they're right in your face, you know, doing things that are just a little bit off, that just test that, you know, they're testing the envelope, pushing the envelope, testing the boundaries, always, just a little bit more than everybody else, causing a little bit of problem. They're taking a little bit of license with saying certain things, okay? I guarantee you they're up to some bullshit. They're up to something they shouldn't be doing, okay? And you got to watch them and you got to say something. Right there, you saw Randy walked right by, sees his daughter with the lighter fluid and the matches and burning the place down. And she's just like, you know, oh, don't worry, Dad. Don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. Go ahead and keep trying to execute the family. He's like, oh, okay. So, again, you got to, as a leader, you know, if you pass by a standard, as I've heard it before, if you pass by a standard, you make it your own, okay? So you pass by someone doing something, kind of like what Hegseth said, that's fat, that's out of shape, doing something wrong, okay, if you're in the military, not everywhere else. You know, then you all of a sudden you made it very clear, that you accept that. Okay? All of a sudden, you made it very clear that you accept that. So it's the same thing as a leader anywhere else. If you see something that seems out of whack, have a conversation. Ask the question and say, hey, is it me or were you just doing this? Or is this, I might be wrong, but I thought I saw this. Is that what I saw? And if they, you know, then you'll know. You'll know. If they give you some BS answer, if they act like a punk, or they might explain to you, they say, no way, I would never do that. Oh my gosh, you know? So again, as a leader, you have to be able to step up and recognize when something is messed up, okay? So anyway, all right, that's our little South Park for the week. But I got more. I got more stuff for y'all. I got more for you this week. I'm going to tell you what, we're just getting rolling right now. So I'm telling you, you better forward this to your friends right now because we're about to even take it up a notch. Okay? I don't know if you can aggressively call people fat now unless you're in the military mountain music. I think it's probably not a good idea. I think it's definitely, I see you, Becky. I'm very excited about Taylor Swift tomorrow. I didn't even know that. Is that really happening? That's the whole thing. I know Travis Kelce. I've seen him in the news. He's been getting like fights and stuff. I think people are making fun of him. I think he's had it. He's not winning right now. We could have a whole separate episode on that. I know nothing about Taylor Swift. I know nothing about that. I care nothing about it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. I do like that she's brought more attention to football. That's pretty cool. But anyway, yes. All right. But you can't call people fat. You can't just go running around doing that. So, but I mean, I think if you have the ability to help someone to get in better shape, that's always good. But in the military, apparently you can, right? Which has never been any different. It was the same way when I was into. People were in the Marine Corps. Again, it's a different animal. The Marine Corps is a whole different world, man. It is for sure. Sounds like Secretary Hegseth is taking on that Marine Corps ethos, and I like it. I like it. Some of the stuff he said, as I said before, but 90% of it, maybe more, was really good and took big guts to do. All right. Tell your friends, forward this. We're about to take it to a whole new level because we're about to go into the craziest news from this week. Maybe I could do it like Pigs in Space. Anybody remember the old Muppet Show, Pigs in Space? Pigs in Space. We're about to do that. I just did that. Yes, I did. Okay. We're about to do craziest news from this week. All right. So tell your friends, as I'm telling you, it's about to get good. South Park was just the warm-up act for this stuff. This is absolute kookiness that's about to occur. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, let's get it on. Here we go. Ready? Yeah, Ben, I do like Wu-Tang and metal. I am a big metalhead for sure. No doubt about it. That's 100%. 100% on that. Okay, here we go, guys. Let's see the craziest news from this week. And I can't find any crazier news than this one. I can't find any crazier news than this one right here. Right here. Absolutely insane. Here we go.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bull. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters.
Only 4 hours after President Trump met with Democratic congressional leaders at the White House to discuss the looming government shutdown.
This is true. This isn't fake. This is true. This is real. Look at this actually happened. Okay. And again, here, I want to get to this point because this is the context.
Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters.
Only 4 hours after President Trump met with Democratic congressional leaders at the White House to discuss the looming government shutdown, the commander-in-chief posted an AI-generated video on Truth Social, which mocks Senator Chuck Schumer and Rep. Hakeem Jeffries. The faux footage shows Jeffries depicted with...
What? Can you even believe this? I mean, honestly, you guys, I mean... Like I said, I'm politically independent. I don't want to make the show into a political show and all this stuff. Too many other shows like that. But I was researching craziest news from this week. Craziest, funniest news. I'm looking for squirrels. I'm looking for cats. I'm looking for buffaloes and yaks and animals. And this is what comes up. Honestly, I didn't even see this earlier in the week. I was like, what? This is the president of the United States posted this? He made a video after a very serious discussion on healthcare, government shutdown. These are our elected leaders. And, like people's jobs are on the line. Like, what? And did you see it? Can you even believe it? I mean, put it in the chat what you guys think about that. I can't even believe this is an actual thing I'm talking about, okay? And check this out. This is the rebuttal. There's more crazy news. It gets even better. The plot thickens. Like I said, forward this one to your friends. It gets even better. Even crazier. If you can believe it. Okay? Here we go. So, like a responsible adult, Jeffries blasts President Trump over the video, says, say it to my face. Rightfully so. Okay. But let's see what happens.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of.
What? I mean, can you guys even believe this is a thing that this happened? Can you guys believe it? Did I share that with you guys or not? I'm going to do it one more time. Because I don't know if I shared it. I don't know if I shared it with you. We're going to do it one more time. Okay? One more time. Yeah, it didn't play. Okay. Well, I had fun by myself then. I had a good time. But now you guys can see where I'm going. So, like a responsible adult, Jeffries blasts President Trump and says, say it to my face. How can you do this? We're having a serious discussion. And he's right. He's right. So watch what happens.
My face. Say it to my face.
Say it to my face.
A few moments later.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face.
Wow. This is the president. This is the president of the United States with the nuclear codes, the commander-in-chief, the head of everything. And that's what he did. This, again, like I said, and you guys saw it this time, right? Tell me in the chat if you saw it or you didn't see it. I'm pretty sure I confirmed it. You guys saw it. But this is what happened. Again, like I said, I'm not trying to make this into like a big political show or something, but I actually was researching. I typed it in, craziest, funniest news from this week on a few different places. This popped up. This is absolutely nuts. This is absolutely kooky, nuts. I can't believe it. And honestly, President Trump is a funny guy. He's very funny. He's been on Saturday Night Live, all these things like that. He has great comic timing. Appropriate? No, hell no, not appropriate. Kind of funny in some ways, but not that funny when given that the government's going to shut down and that, that there's, healthcare on the line, all these things like that. So, but I will say, I can't believe that he did that. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. But that's for real. He actually posted that. That wasn't fake. That is like for real. Actually, someone did it to him first, and then he took it on himself. That's my understanding. Is like last week, he got tricked and he got spoofed by somebody else using the AI, and they did some video, and he was like, he believed it, and he was tricked, and someone explained to him, and he took the post down, right? And then this time he used it. Like, it's like, be like my mom. My mom's 86. Like my mom, if I taught her how to use AI, and all of a sudden, like, she's got now, like, me, my brother, my family, and her, like, doing crazy stuff. Like, if the president just figured out how to use a damn AI and to make these funny things. And, like, these are all his buddies, and he's just poking fun at them, messing around. I can't even believe it. This is the kookiest, craziest news from this week, guys. Like I said, I looked for squirrels. I looked for cats. I looked for freaking funny, stupid things to wind it out. This is what I came up with. It's too big of a softball to resist, okay? And I'm going to call the balls and strikes and call it like I see it. That is kooky. Absolutely, absolutely kooky. So, my Lord, crazy, absolutely nuts. And so, let's see here. Before we finish this out, if I want to make you laugh with something AI generated, just type the word. Oh, okay, I'll have to see. I'll have to check it out. I'll check it out for next week for sure, Becky. Baby Theo Von. Theo Von is hilarious. Oh my gosh, I love watching him. He's absolutely genius. The stuff he talks about is wild. Oh my gosh. All right. So that's what's going on. That's what happened. So here's the truth. The world won't slow down so you can catch up. Just remember that, all right? We covered a lot of ground tonight. You know the world's not going to slow down so you can catch up. Chaos doesn't wait, okay? So we got to have a plan. We got to be ready to move forward. Because here's the thing. Leaders, real leaders, don't need calm seas. They don't need everything to be perfect. They don't need conditions to be set. They don't need to have the perfect plan, the perfect time, the perfect resources, everything, okay? They need clear decisions and just to make a decision, take charge, move out, have a plan, have a vision, and take action. Like I told you guys before, okay? The more action you take, the more you're going to learn. The more you're also probably going to bump into things that Maybe you didn't get the results you like, but you're going to grow, you're going to learn, you're going to adapt, okay? So today we looked at speeches to generals. We saw what denial does to people and what does to systems, does to leaders in charge like Putin, okay? And we laid out 10 decisions that will either be made by you or for you. Remember this, confusion is a tax. Denial is a debt. This is very true, okay? The more you're confused, it taxes you. So get clear. And sometimes confusion is good because you're learning, okay? But it's definitely going to slow you down. The more you stay unclear about what you want, what your plan is, the more it's going to tax your effort, the more it's going to slow you down from making progress. But when you deny what's in front of your face, boy, oh boy, you're really getting in debt. You're really hurting yourself and you're hurting your team. You're hurting whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. You're hurting the mission, okay? Both of these, okay, confusion and denial, both get collected with interest. Remember that. Tax and debt both get collected. Confusion and denial both get collected with interest, okay? Your way out is simple. Have a clear mission. Get a battle rhythm. Know how to communicate. Improve your communication and have courage and discipline each and every day. Just like I say in my favorite mug that I use all the time, courage and discipline, okay? It's sitting right here, all right? And on the other side, it's super cool. Ferocious Optimist, okay? Here's what it says. Ferocious Optimist, greatness is within you. You have an exciting vision, make a solid plan, then work it every damn day. I love this one. I look at it every morning because it reminds me I have to have a solid vision, a clear vision, a solid plan, and execute it and work on it every damn day. Get after it. Have courage and have discipline every damn day, and that's all I need. That's it, okay? So I want you to write your mission. I want you to build your battle rhythm. I want you to be intentional with every interaction. Every word you say builds credibility or it takes away from it, okay? One or the other. Make one of those decisions tonight to write the mission, to get better communication. Make one of those decisions tonight for what you're going to do, all right? Lead yourself and the chaos won't break you. You lead yourself and it will forge you into a weapon, okay? You're not stuck, you're paused. Push play. This is your time. The time is now, it's your time. Push play on your life. If you feel stuck, if you feel it's too late, you feel like you wasted too much time, that's not true. You're exactly where you should be. Everything that's happened up to this point has put you in the exact place you need to be right now to become the very best version of yourself tomorrow, okay? None of us are getting any younger. You're the youngest you're going to be right now, okay? So if you feel like you're too old, you're wrong. Get after it. If you feel like it's too late, you're wrong. Get after it. You have time. As long as you have breath in your lungs, get after it. Make something happen. Have a clear objective and go after it, okay? One of the most joyful things in life, one of the best things in life that leads to a very fulfilling, satisfying life is growth. When you're growing, everything gets better. You're growing, you're learning, you're developing, no matter what stage you're at, no matter how young you are, no matter how old you are. It doesn't matter. When you're growing, we feel better, okay? Because if you're not growing, guess what? You're dying, okay? You're stuck. So start growing, keep growing, never stop. You achieve one goal, set a new one right away and get after it. Have a clear and compelling vision for yourself, okay? And now, like I always say, all right, before I answer questions, this is your time. The time is now. Stand up for yourself. Believe in yourselves. I believe in you. Make yourselves better. Make the world better. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. And I'll see you all Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time for the next one. And go get yours. It's been a real pleasure to be here tonight with all you guys. Had so much fun. I hope you had some laughs. I hope you learned something. And I hope you had some great takeaways. And I'll see you all next time. All right, I'll hit up any questions you have right now. Let's see. Any questions we have in the chat? Yes, it will forge you into weapons, Supra, for sure. Hey, I'm so glad. Becky, you are in our prayers. Definitely keep you in our prayers. I'm glad you got cheered up tonight. That's awesome. Have I read any of Pete Blaber's leadership books? I've heard of Pete Blaber, but I don't think I've read any of his books, Mark. I'll have to check it out. Thanks, Jenks. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for being here. I don't think I've read any of them. But guys, hit me up. Any questions? This is the time right now. I'll stick around for a little bit, answer any questions. Go ahead and put them right there. I will tell you, it is so important to make sure you have that mission, you have that clear focus. And like I said, guys, if you're looking to figure out what it is you're meant to do right now, to figure out your mission, to figure out your purpose, to figure out your passion, okay, to get clear and focused and to get a real blueprint for success for what you want to accomplish, okay, to get unstuck, to move forward, to get to your next level, then join my Ferocious Optimist community. Join my membership, okay? And we will get you from where you are now to where you want to be. You'll have the monthly live group coaching calls, all right? You'll be able to replay that as many times as you want. You'll have access to special offers, okay? You'll have the community, direct messaging with me in the community each and every day as much as you want, okay? And I'll coach you from there. It's easy, all right? You have Q&A with the rest of the community members and DMs with them as well too, okay? Some fantastic people in that community. I'm going to tell you right now, entrepreneurs, career people, artists, okay? You name it. Teachers, all kinds of people that have all kinds of experiences. I've got, former special operators in there as well too. So it's a great place to be. And again, you become who you surround yourself with. So if you don't have a great peer group, you don't like who's surrounding you physically each and every day right now, I'm telling you, you can surround yourself with the right people by going deep inside my membership and my community. If you like this here right now, and I'm telling you, this is free content, right? But you go deep, you go inside my actual Ferocious Optimist community. The link is in my YouTube bio in the link tree, okay? It's on the links in YouTube, also on Instagram too. You're going to get so much out of it. You're going to love it. It's absolutely awesome, okay? And it'll make a huge difference. And again, if you're one of the 10 people to join this month in October, you're going to get free bonuses this month as well too, okay? Free bonuses, you're going to get early access to my mini course, the pre-launch for a course that's going to be coming out at the new year. You'll get access to the mini course, okay? Early access to that. And you're also going to get a free one-on-one onboarding call with me as well too, okay? So some great bonuses, but you got to be one of the first 10 to join this month. I haven't really been promoting the membership that much except for on our lives and on some of the videos, putting the links in there. But once I start getting the course out there for the new year, I'll be pushing it more and more. And the reason why it's 10, again, is because I want to be able to serve the community at the highest level. I want to be able to serve all you guys at the highest level. And so I'm not opening up to more than that. Once we hit the 10, we're going to close it back down again and just keep on growing at a steady pace. So be one of the 10. Grab your spot and grab the bonuses that are available right now this month. And if you have any questions, hit me up in Instagram and also hit me up in the comments here or whatever. Okay, sure. I think I actually know Mark. I might actually have met Pete before. I've either met him or something. Somehow I know the name. Okay, Supra, what's your advice for someone like me who's hyper independent? Both parents saw war, but none of them talked about it. So as an adult, I go silent for clarity, even if it may. Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I think sometimes that's good. Going silent to get clarity. You got to get clear. Taking the inward journey is very important. The more you can take the inward journey, and hey, you're welcome, Lisa. Thank you. The more you can take the inward journey and reflect upon who you are, what you want, what's important to you, identifying where the sources of anxiety are, the sources of pain, the sources of friction, the better it's going to serve you. Okay, Supra. So I think that's very, very important. I understand that. My father saw a lot of war when he was young. And so I understand what you're talking about because it's different. My dad wouldn't talk a lot for a lot of things, and so growing up, I just, I saw that as a way to be sometimes where I needed to take the inward journey and to just be strong and to push through things. So it served me well in a lot of ways. In other ways, I had to learn how to communicate better, for sure. I definitely had to learn how to communicate better. And who you see before you is not who I was 30 years ago, right? Wait a minute, I was just born 30 years ago. What am I talking about? What? Hold on a second. But no, it wasn't who I was 30 years ago. It wasn't who I was 20 years ago, okay? Who you're seeing before you is the accumulation of all the skills and abilities and trial and error and feeling, funny and feeling weird and trying and failing and getting better and seeing where I had shortfalls and getting better and better and better. So I think it's totally okay. Okay. I think it's, I definitely think it's okay to be hyper independent, but I want you to know that you can't do it alone. Okay. At some point you want to have a team. You want to have people supporting you. You want an accountability circle. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and have other people there to support you. Okay? I'm like that too. I want to do it myself. I want to research it myself. I want to do it alone. I like to be like, like the secret ninja over here and doing everything myself. But I've learned that together, everyone achieves more. Team, right? You have to know team. Together, everyone achieves more. And sometimes it takes us admitting that, we might be good by ourselves. But if we want to expand, we want to go faster, okay? And we want to go further, go with a team. Like they always say, you want to move fast, go alone. You want to go far, go with a team. So I highly recommend, if you don't have a support group, if you don't have a mentor, you don't have a coach, you don't have people you feel like you can talk to in a confidential way, get them and find them, okay? Find those people who will be there for you, okay? I'm one of those people, but it doesn't have to be me, okay? I know I believe in what I do, and I believe in my community and my membership. I do a lot of one-on-one coaching too, but if you find someone else that works for you, then find that person, okay? It could be a friend. But sometimes I find that friends, they're fair weather sometimes. A professional will be there for you on a consistent basis, and they will hold you accountable, okay? To get clear. And then sometimes, therapists are good too if you need a therapist, if it's something else, right? But I find a lot of people have told me that when they've worked with me as a coach, that it's been even better sometimes, than working sometimes with a therapist, right? I'm saying therapists do fantastic things. I'm not saying that I'm a therapist. I'm saying that therapists do different things than coaches will, because coaches aren't licensed therapists, so they can push you in certain areas to achieve objectives, achieve goals, have a battle plan. Whereas a therapist is going to help you unwind certain, emotional health, mental health, certain issues that are holding you back, okay, and things like that, okay? So hopefully that helps. And Super, let me know if that helps to answer your question. Let's see. Any other questions here? Okay. Yeah, it clashes with individuals who want answers right away. I understand what you're saying. You don't always have to give an answer right away. That's the thing too, Super, is that if you need time to think, you can go ahead and get clarity. One of the things I used to do as a leader is that when a hard decision had to be made, I used to usually go for a long hike up in the mountains and things like that, up in these hills of Camp Pendleton on the coast, or I'd go for a workout or a long run. And I would let the information sink in, and then I would come back and give my answer. But I would never do it without it digesting, especially if it was a big, important decision. And if someone wants answers right away, if it's one of those things where you're made an offer and the offer expires in just a few minutes, then you got to trust your gut. Either way, it's either a yes or a no, okay? If you have to. But if you have time to think, then take your time to measure it out, weigh it out, and to get clear, right? But what helps a lot of times is knowing what you truly want, knowing your mission, knowing your purpose, knowing your objectives, knowing your values. When you know your values, you know your priorities, you know your mission, it's easier to make decisions. Like I said, I know what my mission is, right? To become an inspirational leader who can create positive, lasting change in the lives of others, right? Anything that falls out of that, I'm probably not going to do it, okay? Unless it's to serve other people in some way, So that's my main mission. And then my priorities and my values, I know what they are, so it's easier to make decisions. Am I perfect? Hell no. Do I learn all the time, make mistakes? Sure. And I keep trying and getting better, but I think I make fewer mistakes now than I did before, right? So I keep trying to get better. But I will say, when I try new things and I try to get better, then I run into friction and we learn again, we grow again, and we make more mistakes, okay? Yeah, I'll definitely check him out though, Mark. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Put them in the chat. Hey, thank you, Mountain Music. Any other questions, guys? Put them in the chat. I'll stick around a couple more minutes. Let's see if anybody's got anything. I see, Lisa, you have hold up. Any other questions here for me? If not, let's see. Hey, I appreciate you too, Supra. Hey, thank you. Thank you for saying that. And like I said, anytime, reach out on Instagram, DM me if I can help, and if I can help a little more in that way, then feel free, okay? Hey, my pleasure, Sue. Thank you. I hope you do too. You're learning something you never experienced. I understand that, Supra. Again, hit me up on Instagram and we can chat there and see if, if there's something more specific I can help with or point you in the right direction. Okay, awesome. I'm so glad. Hey, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. 4-star episode. I appreciate all your support. Hey, everybody, thank you all for being here too and for letting me do what I love, and I appreciate all your support. Hit that like button. Leave a comment if you haven't yet. I forgot to say it earlier. I always forget to, but you guys are very supportive. The comments, the likes, the shares, they all help. I'm going to put chapters in this episode as I always do, so you can take little small bites and you can send it to people. Again, my whole point is to serve. As I've said before, if I can, hey, good night, Phoenix. If I can serve in a better way by doing that, then that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Oh, you caught that, right? I said 30 years ago. Wait a minute. Yeah, the chapters will be out there, and then I'll be putting out some other stuff. But again, Sunday at 4 p.m., we're going to go live again, and we're going to go crazy and have a great time. Big stuff for Sunday. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. As always, I'm open to feedback. Take a look at the posts and the polls that I put up in the polls. You guys can tell me what you want to see more of. I think I still have one poll up right now that says, what do you want to see more of in my live? And take a look at that one on one of my posts and put your vote in there. That's going to help out for me to get this thing even focused and more on target, because you guys are the vanguard. You guys are the core supporters. And as this grows, you will have a say in how this thing is developing. So it's pretty cool. All right, everybody. If there are no more questions, I am going to sign off here and jump out. It is almost 10 p.m. And again, make yourselves better, make the world better. Have an amazing weekend. Enjoy your Friday. I will see you all Sunday at 4 p.m. and go get yours. Let's go. I'll see you all next time.